Hey, this is Ben and I coach your Venture Free. Welcome back to the second week of my game dev journey. If you still haven't watched my previous video, please feel free to check it out beforehand. I'm very excited to share all the updates in this week. Anyway, let's get started. As I mentioned in the previous video, I didn't really know which game genre has the best product market fit. How about let's start by building a very simple resource harvesting mechanic, which means a harvesting cycle in the game. Let's take a tree as an example. There are several stages of harvesting in the game cycle. Idle, waiting for the interactions with the player. Harvest, player harvesting the resources with a tool. Successful, harvest succeeded and resources available. Collect, player collects the harvested resources. Regenerate, resources generate on the map again after harvesting. For each of the stages above, there will be different animations and interactions respectively. But the key to this game mechanic is the resource allocation on the game map. First and foremost, it's all about the density of the resources. Trees cannot be too packed or too close. It will be less fun if the player can harvest the resources without moving around. Therefore, I develop a simple function to ensure the regenerated tree will not get too close to the character each time. By comparing the XY coordinates of the character and the regenerated position of the resources on the map, the function guarantees the new tree will not generate within 100 units range of the character. As a result, after successfully harvesting one tree, the player will have to go back and forth in order to harvest another one. Secondly, the time of regeneration and randomness is also very important. Randomness is a very large topic of game design. If time is allowed, I will film another video to talk about this topic. For this time, I just simply use the operating system time as the seed to ensure the tree generation mechanism can achieve a true random state. I also restrain the maximum total number of trees in the game to 5. Once a tree is being harvested, another one will pop up within 1 second on the game map. With these two key mechanics, I think it is good enough to build a foundation for a clicker game to keep the player fun and busy. Inspired by the dead cells and nuclear foam, I also developed a resources magnetic feature. So what does it mean? The player can carry a resource magnet which can produce a magnetic field to pull and collect their harvested resources automatically. The magnetic field will automatically initiate once it is close enough and collides with the resources. To start a campfire, you also need a flint. Therefore, with the two pillars above, the same game mechanics can be applied to the flint harvesting and many more. However, it does not make any sense to mine flint with an axe. Therefore, I draw a pickaxe and build a simple tool switching mechanism. With both wood and flint in hand, you are good enough to start a campfire. So, it's time to build a crafting mechanism. Firstly, I would like to solve the problem of overlapping. What does it mean by overlapping? There are many game objects in the game world, say the resources. It is always good to avoid the crafting object collides with each other in the game. I don't allow the player to craft stuff on top of the other game object. Once the player wants to craft a campfire, the game will enter a crafting mode to check whether the crafting position will overlap with other game objects. If it does, the crafting position will turn red. At the same time, if the crafting position is a green light, then you are good enough to go and resources will be deducted. Also, every crafting object has its life. Nothing is permanent in this game, and things will be deteriorated from time to time. After 12 seconds, a basic campfire will burn out and you will have to start another one again. Or simply you can maintain the campfire by consuming wood and flint. I will develop this game mechanic later on. Finally, I also developed a basic graphical user interface before the end of this week. One of the interesting designs is to mimic the Mac keyboard, as I am an Apple fanboy. More useful information and user manuals will be developed later on, say showing the HP of the character and the crafting and back menu. So that's the wrap up of this week's game div. Thanks for watching my YouTube video. Probably I will polish the game a little bit more, maybe improve the graphical user interface, maybe add some more detail in the crafting system. And in the next week, I probably will publish the game to different platforms, which is a very alpha early bird version. So stay tuned and see you guys soon. Bye.
And there is stage separation and second engine start. You can see that second engine on your right screen glowing bright red.